I think one of the biggest questions I get from people wanting to be in business or people wanting to grow their business is, what are some of the major things that prevent them? Hey, it's Gary Cox. If you're not familiar with me, I am author of books such as Don't Let Others Rent Space in Your Head, and this is a good one. You can't fillet and nibble, it's the catch that counts. And if you haven't subscribed, I would certainly appreciate that. We got hacked a number of months ago, so we're starting from scratch. Anyway, so I want to share with you what I have found that I had to learn to make a major change is if I wanted to grow. And I find that this is a problem with so many entrepreneurs. I know one person who's very successful, does millions of dollars, and he still has this, I wouldn't say he still has this problem. He has this problem, and he could double his income, but he won't change his thinking. That shows you how powerful our thinking is. So what is that? Well, what it is you've heard this before, you've probably said it, especially if you're an entrepreneur thinking about it, be careful of it. It goes like this. If you want something done right, do it Do it yourself. Boom! That's the worst thing you can think of. That is the worst belief. That will slow you and stop you from having a tremendous amount of success or more success. So let's talk about this. First of all, how do we get this belief? Where does it come from? Well, typically when you start a business, most people have a lot more time than they do capital, right? So if we've got a lot of time, we're doing everything ourselves. And as you start doing everything yourselves, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the sales, you're doing the ads, you're doing everything. And then you start figuring out, okay, there's some really good ways to do this, smart ways to do that, don't do it this way, and you become really good. That's Winnie, one of my cockatoos in the background. So we might have to get Winnie to shut up and bring Winnie over here. So you get really good at a lot of things. And some things you don't get so good at, but some things you get really good at. And also the big thing is this is your baby. You know, you don't want anybody destroying your baby. You want it done right. All right, so what happens is you start doing this for maybe years, or you hire one or two people and you're still doing a lot of things. And if you have that type of mentality that if you want it done right, do it yourself, then you start micromanaging people. Then when you start micromanaging people, you start hiring people that need to be micromanaged. I have a partner of mine, if I send him an email about getting something done, and for some reason I don't think he did it, and I'll send him another email 3 or 4 days later that says second request. He gets pissed off. That says, you know, well, why are you sending me a second request? You don't think I get it done? That's the type of person you want to work with. All right, now, so let's talk about this mentality and how to let go. So I remember I had 2 millionaire mentors when I was a teenager, and later a billionaire mentor. And I remember my millionaire mentor telling me a story about he was in the jewelry business, and he had somebody that he learned from. And the story went something like, this guy that he learned from, he had a jewelry store, and he made, I'll just make up a number, he made like $250,000 a year, and say $10,000 of that $250,000 is jewelry that had been stolen by employees. So he said to his friend or partner or whatever, he wants to go ahead and have 4 more stores. And somebody said to him, well, if you're already having people, you know, steal $10,000 worth of stuff from you every year, now you're going to have $40,000 worth of stuff stolen from you. He was cool with that. Why? Because it's either that, hey, Winnie, it's either that or he wouldn't be able to have 4 stores to get to $1 million. Right? So you have to learn to let go. I remember when I heard all this and I said, okay, that's one of my problems. If I want it done right, do it myself. Okay, so I've got to learn to let this go because I've got to duplicate myself. And if I can't duplicate myself, I'm not going to be able to grow my business. So the first time I really made a major quantum leap in doing this, here's what happened. Oh my gosh, I'll never forget it. So I had a routine of when I would fly my airplane and go to a speaking engagement or go to a meeting, I have a team with me. And then we'd land, and of course with an airplane, you want to be really careful when you put it back into the hangar because, you know, if you dent something or whatever, that's 10, 20, 50, 100, 200,000, whatever. So this was the time I'm making my change and growing my business. I said to myself, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the 2 people I'm flying with, I'm going to leave it to them to put the airplane in the hangar. And I'm going to go back to the office, and, you know, I can't do everything myself. So let them do it. So I let them do it. I get to the office. I'm doing my work, you know, I'm using my time wisely now, because normally it would take an extra, 20 minutes or so to put the airplane in the hangar. And then I get a phone call from the pilot, and he said, and he was like really hesitant, and he said, Gary, I go, what? It didn't sound good. He says, I smashed the tug. That's the machine that you use to move the airplane in and out. He says, I smashed it into the nose of the airplane. Oh no, don't tell me you did that. Don't tell me. The first time I'm really saying to myself, okay, I'm going to get this figured out. I'm going to let people do their thing, even though I think I can do it better, but I've got to duplicate myself. And the first time I really said I'm doing that, that happened. But you know what my thought process was? My thought process was, oh, that was a dumb thing I did. Why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. I said, no. So I was actually relatively okay with it, because I knew for me to grow, I have to let go. And I know letting go, if I'm not going to do everything on my own to grow my company, people are going to screw up. Have I screwed up? It's my company. Heck yeah, I've screwed up. So they're going to do the same thing. And I look at my billionaire mentor, who unfortunately had passed away. It's been a number of years now. He had, I don't know, what's he got, 20 hotels, 18 hotels. Now, do you think that if he had the belief, if I want it done right, I'll do it myself, do you think he could be a billionaire with 20 hotels if he had that thought process? Absolutely not. I mean, do you think he knows that somebody's getting a meal cooked that they're not happy with it because they asked for it to be medium rare and now it's well done? Yeah, he knows that. That's just part of the game. And if you don't let go this type of thinking, and you're not open to realize that people are going to make mistakes, then you got something wrong with your thinking, because you're making mistakes. I'm still making mistakes, and I have a team, and I still make mistakes. In fact, when I make mistakes in my company, I tell myself, because it's you making the mistake, and also because I'm making the mistake, I'm a little bit more easy on me because it's me. And if somebody else made the same mistake, I'd be a little bit more pissed. So I tell myself, Gary, you made this mistake, and for some reason you're not, beating up on yourself, but if it was somebody else that did it, you would. So there's no difference. So when somebody else makes this mistake, back off, all right? Ease up. So I wanted to share that with you, because I feel that this is so, so important. Now, what I want you to do as an entrepreneur, if you're watching this as an entrepreneur, number one, do you have that belief? Do you believe that, man, if I want it done right, do it myself? If you have that belief, I'd like you to identify how it's hurting you financially in your business and how it's eating up your time. Because if you feel that if you want it done right, do it yourself, you're doing things that you probably should be having somebody else do, and you're wasting a lot of time. And how much money is it costing you? Wow. How much money is it costing you? So here's one of the greatest advantages, which I talked about earlier. When you think, and your thinking is letting go and have other people do things, know that they're going to make mistakes. One of the biggest advantages for you is that you're going to hire people that do not need to be micromanaged. So I know a gentleman who has a company, and oh my goodness, and he does very well, but he could do so much better. He has to supervise every single little tiny thing, every single little thing. And I've watched him and I go, why is he just not letting his people do their thing? Just let them be. But every little thing. So he's getting better at it. And I want you to be thinking about that. If you're micromanaging everything, you're not going to be able to grow your business. And maybe you don't want to grow your business to a phenomenal level. That's great. Okay, right? But if you still have that attitude of, every time you want to do everything, you want to do it right, do it yourself. If you can just let that go, even though you don't want to get really big in your company, if you could just still let that go, you will find that you will be better at hiring people when you need to hire people, because you won't hire people that need to be micromanaged all the time. And then you'll learn to maybe have a better lifestyle because you're not babysitting adults. That's one thing I hate doing, is babysitting adults. Anyway, enough about this. I hope you've enjoyed today's topic. Love to see your comments below. And let's see, that's about it. Oh, if you'd like to have some time and spend with me in the Bahamas at Sandals Resorts. I have an incredible, what I call beyond first class masterminds, where you have the opportunity to spend the day with me, take you in the airplane, we fly to the Bahamas. We have a full day of intense coaching on subjects like this and a lot deeper. So if you're interested in something like this, make sure you send a comment below with the word jet. And I think Winnie says I have to spend time with Winnie now. All right, I'm out of here. Between now and the next time we get to chat, you know what to do. What do you do, Winnie? Exactly. Don't let anything or anyone rent space in your head. Have an awesome day.